So metals pricing, and I'm talking white metals, the PGMs, platinum group metals. You know, there are a lot of sites out there that list what the current market conditions are, what the pricing is based on, the current market conditions. But I thought maybe we could talk a little bit about that and discuss, you know, the differences on some of these sites and how it's based monetarily, and maybe the difference between a bid and an ask. Because I've had that question and it's out there, and I thought maybe we could bring this information to our viewers.
I think we should ask the experts. And we are joined today, if you could see that on the screen, by Sparky, Connie, and Oxy.
That's right, there they are.
So there are automotive precious metals experts in the room today. And by the way, I've got to mention before we get into the question that you're asking, we're not in our studio today. We're in our conference room.
That's right.
So we're trying out a few different things today, and maybe the sound's a little different, but it's the same. Couple of guys talking.
That's right. Just Ed and Rich talking.
I just wanted to mention the fact that we're doing something different today.
Yeah.
But so metals pricing, and you were asking bid and ask. Well, my understanding of bid and ask and metals pricing for the white metals. Let's say we're either looking at a market, whether it's London or if it's here in the United States, it's being quoted on a daily basis for those commodities. Those are typically quoted for deliverable metal ingots, right? Mm-hmm. And so you don't have to wait for the work product. You could take delivery. So you have a bid and an ask. So bid would be what I would be offering to buy that material for. So if you came to me and said, I want to sell you 100 ounces of platinum, then I'm going to quote you bid. So that's my bid price. I'm bidding that price for that metal at this moment.
In that form.
Now, if you came to me and said, I would like to buy 100 ounces, and I said, yeah, I have it, I'll sell it to you. Then I'm going to sell it to you for the ask price. So I'm going to be asking this price. So bid is what I'm willing to pay you. Ask is what I'm willing to sell it to you for. The difference is my markup for the transaction. So that's the difference in the spread between bid and ask. Now, we could get a little bit further into the weeds on this if you want to talk about product.
Yeah, let's talk
against
about product.
The bid and ask price. What is the specific product? Well, is the product a 100-ounce ingot? Is it 10-ounce bars? Is it 1-ounce bars? Is it 1-ounce coins? Is it fractional coins, half-ounce, quarter-ounce, 10th-ounce coins? Let's just remember that each item has a manufacturing cost associated with producing. It's cheaper to produce a 100-ounce bar than it is to produce a 1-ounce coin. It's cheaper to produce a 1-ounce coin than 10 1/10-ounce coins. So incrementally, there's a markup for the cost of manufacturing on top of the ask price if you were to take delivery of that item. So, there's the difference between bid and ask, buy and sell, and markup for manufactured ingots, rounds, coins, medallions.
Right. So in our world, in the automotive recycling world, as far as converters, mm-hmm. oxygen sensors, iridium and platinum spark plugs.
Okay, so let me ask you, when you take a catalytic converter and you shake it and you hear it rattling around, right? What do you think of? Loose catalyst, right?
Loose catalyst, absolutely.
I'm thinking of coins jingling around inside the can, right?
Right.
When you cut that can, are you pouring out 1-ounce coin? No.
You got to process it.
You got to process it. You've got ceramic monolith inside that, right?
Yep.
So now that's got to get crushed and processed and extracted. And so what are we looking at? We're looking at inputting work, labor, transportation, energy, mm-hmm. all of this stuff to get to the end product, which is the precious metal,
right?
The platinum, palladium, and rhodium. And it's still not in a manufactured form.
That's correct.
At that point, when they ascertain what the content is. So when you get into this, it's interesting because the timeline could be months from the time those converters are collected and there's output from the metal refinery. And the output from the metal refinery is typically black sponge of pure platinum, pure palladium, pure rhodium. So it still hasn't been manufactured into ingot, coin.
Right.
So then there would be additional time as well. So you've got all of these steps. There's manufacturing costs associated with it. There's transportation costs. So if the value of a converter is, let's say it's a $300 converter, just to throw a number out there, right? If 100% of the value is $300, do you expect it to sell it for $300?
No.
Would you like to?
Of course you'd like to.
Of course you would.
Right.
Right? But then the company that's processing that material would lose money in the transaction. So eventually they go out of business if that was their business model, right?
Right.
So if it's a $300 intrinsic value, and that's the contained value of that item, then expect to sell it for a discount to create enough of a spread to absorb the cost of manufacturing.
Mm-hmm. That makes sense.
So maybe you get 10% less, as an example.
Right.
Maybe it's 15% less, whatever that number is, whoever you're dealing with. That would be the short answer.
Yeah, that's the short answer.
Yeah. What do you have to say, Sparky?
He's camera shy,
Oh, okay.
but he's watching over us. Now, talk about the differences in the two market. Obviously, there's North American, there's the European based off of the London LIBOR.
You know, it's interesting. When you look at rhodium, let's just pull rhodium out because it's a thinly traded market here in North America. There's only a handful of companies willing to take a position and make a market in rhodium here in the United States. Why is it that we see rhodium prices in the U.S. are typically lower than what we're seeing in the U.K.? So I'm asking myself this question.
Right.
Well, it's because, is it because there's a higher demand in the UK? That's kind of an open-ended question. I don't know. Is there a higher demand for rhodium in the UK? Is more of it produced in the United States for recycling than in the UK? So therefore we have more metal available, so it trades at a discount. But then there's the cost of transporting it to the UK to obtain a higher price than you would receive here in the US. So then you have transportation charges, insurance, time. So typically I see the prices overseas are slightly higher than what we are receiving here in the United States, probably for those reasons.
Yeah.
Not so much with the platinum and the palladium, maybe a little bit on the palladium, but really more pronounced with rhodium.
Yeah, it's pretty rare. I mean, tell our viewers, how much rhodium is mined annually?
Gosh, I don't know off the top of my head. I know it's not much.
Yeah.
I think I read somewhere the annual mine production, if you were to put it into a cube, it would fit in the back of 2 pickup trucks.
Wow. That's
It's not much.
Not compared to.
I mean, I'd like to quote a number to you, but I know it's going to be wrong.
That's okay.
But I can visualize this.
But that puts it into perspective.
Yeah.
There's
not
not
much.
not that much volume
Every year
produced
at
right?
the mines.
That's why it's always out of the 3 PGMs that are in the catalytic converter. Obviously, that's always the highest priced.
Well, it's interesting that with the higher NOx emission standards today, it requires more rhodium to achieve more rhodium loading on the catalyst to achieve those rates, and so maybe it's 3 times more rhodium today being doped onto a converter than what we saw 10, 15 years ago. So there's more demand
Absolutely.
to obtain those standards.
Right. Be able to sell the cars here.
But you don't need any rhodium on an electric vehicle.
That's true.
because it doesn't have a tailpipe putting out emissions.
Right.
So rhodium demand from electric vehicles is essentially zero.
That's true.
So let's go 100% electric, and then we don't have to worry about any of this recycling, right?
Oh, no. As our good friend Matt Watson, shout out to Matt Watson, he would disagree with you on there, obviously.
I just throw something out at you. I was reading something the other day, and I drive a vehicle with a stick shift, right?
Yeah.
And this caught me. I said, this is interesting. In Europe, new car sales, up to 30% of the new cars that are sold on the continent are manual transmissions. You know how much that is here in the U.S.?
Oh, it's pretty small compared to Europe.
About 1%.
Yeah. I know how to drive manual. I prefer manual.
Yeah,
I love it.
I don't know. I like both.
Yeah.
But it's a sportier feel with a stick shift.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I just thought I'd digress a
Yeah.
little bit.
And in your car, it's cool to have a 6-speed manual and a Jeep.
Yeah.
That's fun. Take it out in the trails and have some fun.
Something
mobbing it.
different.
Yeah.
Something different.
That's really cool.
Actually, I would say, it's a way for me to say that's my car and my wife doesn't want to drive it because it's a stick.
You can't say that.
But I can't say that because she
Right.
drives the stick better than I do.
That's right. I've been in the vehicle with her, and yes, she drives it very well.